Good day, Summers. This is Raabemaster bringing you another League of Legends Procast. This time, we're going to be featuring TheOddOne on Cho'gath. And you guys are welcome to the show, where the only thing OP in the current meta is you. Let's get underway with the champion picks. First up on the blue team, we're going to have a Malzahar in the jungle. Nah, I'm just trolling you guys. It's a Trundle. In the mid lane, it's going to be a Kale, Misfortune 80 carry being supported by a Tark. Isn't that fabulous? And it's going to be a J4 in the top lane for red team. Countering out the blue team's bot lane will be an Ezreal and Lulu. In the jungle, it's going to be TheOddOne on Cho'gath. In the top lane, it's going to be Lee Sin, and mid lane Swain. And this is the second TheOddOne game I've casted, and the second time he's picked Cho'gath. Must be really practicing that champion. A very strong jungler, very capable, one of the best resistors of counter jungling in the game, thanks to the fact that if someone's coming after you, it's not very hard to land your Rupture and Feral Scream. You have a lot of good CC to slow people up with that. You can keep someone stationed at one spot for quite a while, on top of a huge damage nuke if you have your ultimate up. Of course, if you're using that to gain stacks, it's not up very often since you're using it on neutral creeps. That's just a little bit about Cho'gath. Actually, before we get underway with the game, we do have 2 kills that have gone down for blue team, and they're still dead actually, so I can give a little bit of a synopsis on that. It looks like we did have Kale just 1v1 this poor Swain in the mid lane. Kale, very dangerous early game champion. A lot of harass, a lot of good damage too. Let's take a look at her stats right now. She does have a lot of AP, 29 right now. So she's probably going to AP AS hybrid. Probably got some magic. It could be attack speed or magic pen reds. I'm not exactly sure right now. Of course, we could be looking at AP blues and quints as well. So that means that she did have a huge early game damage amount to dish out to the Swain, and he unfortunately did die. I think TheOddOne was the one to give up first blood, though, getting counter jungled by a Trundle. Oh, this is what Trundle's a very good jungler. I hear a lot of hate about him, but he's really good in the jungle. He's great at counter jungling, and he's very good. He's just great at invading. He's great at enabling ganks. He's very, very sustained in the jungle. He's not the fastest jungler ever, since he relies on auto attack and his Q, but still a very strong jungler. I don't know why people keep thinking he's such a bad pick, but I think he's a wonderful pick in the jungle. Anyways, let's get underway with the game. So now with that first 2 kills underway, it's going to give blue team a nice solid gold advantage, almost 1,000 already, only 3 minutes into the game. That was a big counter jungle by Trundle. Of course, Cho'gath has a lot of very gold efficient builds to go, so I'm not too worried about the TheOddOne's transition, even though he got ganked. And it looks like right here we might have Lee Sin going down. There's the wall. Nice job from Trundle. Lee Sin's going to try to escape to the other ward, but he kind of walked towards the ward and then tried to safeguard to it. He's going to die. And that is the power of Trundle ganks. If you, instead of talking about Trundle ganks, I'll talk about this Lulu, who's eating a lot of damage right now. There's the impure shots going on both of them. Ooh, nice turn into a squirrel, Misfortune. And it looks like both the parties here are going to kind of stand back from each other for now. When you want to gank with Trundle, you want to wait for your opponent to get into the bush and then put a wall right in their face. And then they have to walk around it, or they have to flash past it. And it puts them in a very awkward situation, because they have to walk back out the bush towards you in order to walk around the Pillar of Filth while being extremely slow. So that is the beauty of Trundle ganks, especially if you have some CC to come with you in your laner. And Jarvan 4, very good at helping with ganks with his knockup, and especially once it hits level 6 with his ultimate. Not going to be as useful against Lee Sin since he has multiple ways to jump out of it. And it looks like we have Jarvan pushing that into the tower. If you want to go back, do push your lane to the tower. Your opposing laner is no doubt going to miss some CS to the tower, and that's always the preferable way to do it. Looks like we do have some counter warding still. Lulu has not felt safe to come and destroy this ward. She might now, going forward to kill this ward. That took her long enough. That ward's been out there for about a minute. She just didn't feel safe. Now the TheOddOne has a chance to lane gank through the bush since that ward is gone. That's something you can do in your games too. If your jungler wants to come gank, just put a counter ward. Just counter ward this push for him. And make sure he can come through here if you push up the lane. It really helps your junglers a lot if they want to do a lane gank. And let me close out of that. Thought I put myself on Do Not Disturb in Skype. Apparently I didn't. And looks like we have a lot of damage going to Swain. He's just getting abused by this Kale, who got a nice early advantage. That's really going to hurt him. If you give Kale that kind of an advantage, it's going to be very dangerous. And we do see 2 of the most popular AD carry picks right now, Ezreal and Misfortune. Misfortune, because her ultimate is so good at applying a team-wide armor reduction through Black Cleaver. It's going to hit pretty much everyone on the enemy team as long as you're positioned correctly. And that's a lot of armor that the entire enemy team can lose. And that's just going to be extremely dangerous, considering they also have a Trundle to do physical damage. Jarvan does physical damage. Kale can do physical damage, but I expect her to be doing more magic damage this game. It all just depends, though. And it's just some heals going down the bot lane. Everyone loves Taric heals. He's so fabulous the way he heals your AD carry. And we are going to have Misfortune trying her best last hit under this tower while Ezreal just uses his Q to grab some last hits along with his auto attacks. Looks like we might be having some ganks onto Kayle perhaps. I don't know. This Cho'gath, this TheOddOne, he looks like he wants to gank somewhere. He might be going to the mid lane. Both Trundle and Cho'gath have very efficient build options, so even if they counter jungle each other, it's not going to really shut down the other that well. That's kind of like when you want to factor in who's resistant to counter jungling, you have to both look at their skill set and look at the possible builds. Looks like we have a gank coming here from the TheOddOne. However, Lulu's going to drop extremely low. Misfortune flashes after her, gain the kill. Both AD carries popping cleanse, and there we have Cho'gath helping pick up that kill with the rupture, but I don't think he's going to be able to catch this Taric. He will not. And so that looks like it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. That means blue team is going up 4 kills to 1. And they're just looking very strong right now. And they're just everyone's just going to keep CSing. Looks like this Swain might be in a bit of trouble. Nice job from, there goes Kayle's ultimate. And she is going to pick up the kill quite easily, using her ultimate to dodge a lot of tower damage along with Swain's damage. And this Swain is just so far behind right now in this lane. Things are not looking good for him. So he just needs to play passive now, but it's so hard to play passive against a Kayle who's already so far ahead of you, because if she wants to dive the turret, she can. Her ultimate is no deterrent to her doing that. I mean, her ultimate is like the biggest tower dive present you could ask for. It's the same thing as an Alistar. He's also a very good tower dive champion because of his ultimate. And it's like we have Trundle stealing the blue buff out from under the TheOddOne's nose, and that's just something Trundle can do. He has great mobility. His wall is a great slow that's going to pretty much disengage you from almost any situation, especially someone like Cho'gath who has no way to get over the wall without flash, and you're just going to be able to get out of there scotch-free most of the time. The only bad thing about counter jungling with Trundle is if you have to use your contaminated ground, it's like a big, hey, I'm here guys, just look at my giant AoE of disgusting ground that gives me away. So that's the one negative thing about counter jungling with Trundle, but you're usually not using your contaminated ground to actually jungle faster. It's not that much of a beneficial damage. Usually you want it more for dueling and for escaping. It's very good for dueling, especially if your enemies have crowd controls with them. And this is just such a classic lane combination top lane. It's been a long time since I've seen Jarvan versus Lee Sin in the top lane. Classic bruiser and on bruiser action. It'll be interesting to see if this Jarvan decides to go for AD. Right now the TheOddOne being counter jungled again. This Trundle's not giving up, and he is going to get kind of caught out though. He will be able to escape thanks to his good mobility and wall. Seriously guys though, don't let people tell you jungle Trundle is bad. It's not. Looks like we have a lot of damage coming out here from the Misfortune ultimate. She's actually going to pick up a double kill. Nice job from Taric setting up his AD carry for those kills. And this is just going to bring Misfortune even further ahead right now. 3 kills compared to Ezreal's 1. She already has her Brutalizer. Going for that Black Cleaver as we can see. And that's just going to be big for her in lane. There's going to be not a lot that Ezreal can do, especially if Taric gets a good stun. And this is going to give blue team the confidence they need to get Dragon. The jungler is even Cho'gath. He's all the way at his golem, so there's no one here who can stop this. Of course, Cho'gath, one of the best buff clears in the game with his ultimate and smite. You've got over 1,500 damage to work with in true damage against neutral creeps. And it looks like we're just going to have the rest of the lanes resetting themselves. Swain having to go back again. He's out of mana. What is he building? Is he building something to remedy that? He does have Chalice the Protector. Another choice see a lot of people going on for Swain is Chalice of Harmony into Athena's Unholy Grail. He might be going both. I've seen it before. It's not bad. Normally when you're building Swain, you want 2 things. You want mana regen. Well, you want 3 things. You want mana, regen, or at least just a lot of mana. You want some AP, and you also want tankiness because of your skill set. Oh, what is that? What is that? It's Cho'gath beatboxing time. Yeah! Okay, we're going to go past that, but oh, I love the dance for Battlecast Cho'gath. Oh, listen to that music. Okay, we're done with that, but you could get a good rupture here on J4. He's wandering awfully close, but I don't think the TheOddOne feels confident. It is a level 6 against 2 level 8s. Oh, here comes Trundle. He might need to do the counter ganks. And there goes. Will the wall come up? There's the rupture. Hitting both. Nice rupture. Nice silence as well. Getting both of them. And actually, their death will go to Jarvan. Trundle did put his aids onto the Lee Sin, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to turn this gank around. The rupture getting flash dodged. And that was a nice job from the TheOddOne. Counter ganking like a boss. That's what Cho'gath is best at, counter ganking, because it can be hard to land your rupture on a target when they're trying to avoid you. When they're trying to come at you, you can accurately predict their movements and get them with a nice rupture into scream. And that J4 just didn't really have any options for escape right then, since he had already used all of his gap closers to initiate in that fight. And he did end up getting bursted by the Cho'gath's ridiculous ultimate nuke. And it looks like we're just gonna have Tarek trying to zone out this Ezreal. He will get the stun, and here comes some Misfortune damage. It's a lot of damage. However, there's the ult going out onto Ezreal. Misfortune is exhausted right now. Tarek trying to fight back with all of his might. Does Misfortune have her ultimate? She does. She could cast at any point. There's the ultimate, doing a lot of damage. However, they both end up wandering out of it. Will Misfortune be able to get the kill on the Ezreal? I don't know. My frame rate is lagging like hell. And she manages to get the kill, picked up on the Lulu, but now it is Tarek versus Misfortune. Ooh, nice Mr. Shot is going to hit. He feels a little, it might be a little risky to walk in this bush. Nope, nice dodge. Found the Misfortune. Juke Queen. And she's going to get out of there just fine. So she will be getting away from that. And, well, let me check my settings right now. My frame rate seems a bit low. You guys watch the game while I deal with this. I don't know if that's going to help, but let's hope it does. And I don't know why it dropped so suddenly. Normally my frame rate's perfectly stable. I don't know what that could have been. But it looks like we are going to have some slapping and punching going on down here, up here in the top lane. Both of them quite tanky right now. Looks like J4 is going for the defensive stats. He might be rushing a Sunfire Cape. And Lee Sin looking to do the same, so neither of them are really going to be able to do a lot of damage to the other. It's just going to be what they can do against the opposing team. They're both going to be tanky factors in their own team. Let's just look at the red team for a second. Really tanky. We got Lee Sin going Sunfire Cave first. Probably Sunfire Cave first. It could be Warmogs, and that Chain Vest is just there for the armor. I'm just guessing this right now. We got a Cho'gath who, of course, even naturally tanky with his HP. Looks like he might be trying to take out this blue buff. He does, but he forgot the one rule of being counter jungled. Even if you get the buff and die, even if you get the buff, if you end up dying, you're still giving it to the enemy. So that was a very bad move on TheOddOne. I don't think he should have been there at all. Poor decision making on his part, because it's not worth, even if you're just trying to pick up your own jungle, it's not worth getting the buff if you're just going to end up dying for it, because then the buff still goes to your enemy and they get the kill money. Definitely not worth it. Do not try to take a buff if you're most likely going to die afterwards, and TheOddOne had to know he was going to die going into that. There was no way he was getting out of that one alive. And right now, it looks like we are just going to have blue team and red team. Actually, top laners just sitting top lane, but however, in the bot lane, it looks like we have just a bit of a scuffle going down. 4v4 there. Blue team is pushing onto this tower. They might try to engage. Never moved by Swain is going to go out, and they might look to engage on this rupture. Does whiff, however. Ooh, that's a lot of magic damage coming out from that kill, knocking a lot of health off of the Cho'gath. And looks like blue team's calling pings of retreat to their Misfortune, but she's fast. She don't care. 490 movement speed with a tier 1 boost. That's just crazy. Misfortune's such a fast champion when she's not being attacked. And don't forget, guys, if you're being chased by Misfortune, at least hit her once with something to make her lose her passive. It only goes away when she gets hurt. And it looks like we're going to have blue team just being like, we're going to take all of TheOddOne's buffs because he's not miserable enough right now. And looks like they are going to try this. And look at this Trundle. Nice placement right there. They don't, now Swain knows he's there. He might be a little bit worried. Oh, the TheOddOne's being attacked by the Kale. Kale flashes to the wrong side, but it's not going to matter. Trundle's going to pick him up. And now the Swain looks like to be in a lot of danger. Will the stun come out? Nope. Swain's just going to flash out of there. Be able to survive. Lee Sin marking them with his Q. Obviously not suicidal, so he's not going to go into that. And right now, oh, look at that. Look at the TheOddOne CS. Only 45. You might be like, hey, Trundle only has 48. Yeah, but I would say Cho'gath really is in much further behind than the Trundle right now, especially since Trundle's been able to secure kills with the counter jungling. And we are going to have Ezreal shut down the Misfortune. One last missed shot under the turret. Of course, Ezreal, a very strong 1v1 AD carry. If you have to go 1v1 against another AD carry, one of the best ones is Ezreal, due to the fact that he basically has an auto attack, free auto attacks with his Mystic Shot. It used to be better when he had an attack speed slow on Essence Flux, but still a very strong 1v1 champion. At least considering AD carries, he's not like Jax or Lee Sin levels of 1v1. We're talking about squishy little AD carries here. And Tarek's like, hey, I wanted that golem. But nope, Tarek is going to leave. He's not stupid enough to try to 1v1 a Lee Sin at this point in this game. And it looks like we are going to have just red team taking their dragon this game. At least they might be able to get a dragon. Oh, here comes Kale. Here comes Trundle. Will they be able to stop this? Swain very far behind. Level 10 compared to the Kale's level 12. And the TheOddOne just getting nuked down very hard. Does get the Lulu ultimate placed on himself. And Trundle's like, I want this dragon. I can't let the TheOddOne get anything this game. I'm going to be a stubborn troll and not give anything to the giant monster. He even pops his ultimate onto the dragon, gaining him a nice amount of defensive stats. Unfortunately, all those defensive stats, I believe, go away. Maybe when your target is killed. I'm actually not sure about that. I haven't played Trundle in a while. No, I think I'm going to go play Trundle after this. Probably will. I do love Trundle. And it just looks like everyone's trying to reset right now. Red team has lost 3 of their turrets, whereas blue team has only lost 1 of theirs. Gold disparity almost 7, about 6.5k in favor of blue team. And Misfortune's going to be picking up her own red buff. The problem is this Cho'gath's just so far behind right now. He needed to build the Spirit Stone in order to kind of recover from a situation right now. I honestly don't like Spirit Stone. It's okay on Cho'gath, but I feel like his sustain doesn't really warrant the need of a Spirit Stone. Of course, you can build it into the Crest of the Ancient Golem, which is very good, but I feel like it's not really that necessary on Cho'gath. You'd rather just be building your resistances slash health items. Resistances, of course, more valuable on Cho'gath due to the fact that he already has a large health bonus from his ultimate. Pretty much, this is how you want to build when you're building with champions with natural defensive or even offensive buffs. If you naturally get health, build resistances. If you naturally get resistances, build health, because it increases the effective cost of those items. I think we're going to have a bit of a duel here top lane. They're both extremely tanky, both with Sunfire Cape, so I really don't expect them to kill each other. They're just going to kind of whack at each other and give each other naughty stares, and Jarvan needs to slap him around with the phallic spear a little bit. But yeah, neither of these, as long as they don't do something stupid, neither of these are going to end up dying. And looks like we might have Trundle going in for the engage. Nice pillar, catching like everyone on red team, doing a nasty bit of damage to that Lulu. There's the Misfortune ultimate. They all focus Trundle, so Misfortune able to get a lot of AoE damage. Looks like they're going to dive this one. Tark bursting out his manly burst. Going to be able to pick up a kill onto the Cho'gath. And the TheOddOne's just really sad right now. He hasn't been able to get any stacks of his ultimate. Just look at him. He has none. I'm trying to like switch over to him really quickly. If you look at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, he has no stacks of his ultimate. He is incredibly sad right now. And these last couple games of the TheOddOne haven't been the best demonstrations of his skill, but I assure you he's one of the best junglers in the game. We all simply have our bad games from time to time, I'm sure. And Trundle's not making his life easy at all. However, he's not doing terrible. He did pick up a Sightstone, so he's trying to at least be utility for his team. That you might be thinking, Sightstone, you're behind. You need some form of items, some form of stats to give yourself. Well, the thing is, he realizes he's so far behind, he needs to have utility items. Like, if he could get an Aegis, you'd probably go for that immediately. That might even be what he's looking to build next with that Ruby Crystal. Of course, there's a lot of things you can build with a Ruby Crystal. But what he's saying is, I just need to buy utility items to help my team. And a Sightstone, more warding, is one way you can help your team. And it's, of course, a very, very cost-effective item. And so we're going to have the exhaust go down Swain. This Tark still might be dead. Oh, kicking him over the wall. Will he get the Q follow-up? He will not. Big mistakes from Lee Sin. You normally want to hit them with the Q and then ult them over the wall. Because the Q is an execution, so the less health they have, the more damage a Resonating Strike will do. And it looks like we have Jarvan in a bad spot. Will the Swain be able to clean this up? I don't think so. He's going to have to flash away from that. And so far, we only lost one. Oh, actually, there's another death. One for blue team, one for red team. This Trundle trying to do as much damage as possible. He's so tanky right now. And, oh, nice rupture from the TheOddOne. Going to keep the Trundle and Misfortune at bay for now. Will he be able to get closer to Ezreal? He just needs his wall back up. And there goes the wall. He wants to bite Ezreal's face. No, he wants to bite Swain's face. Whose face does he want to bite? It doesn't matter because he's not going to get it. One thing I'm going to have to say, I'm going to have to criticize this Trundle skill build. Normally, before the huge mobility creep came, before it kind of hurt Trundle's wall and ganking, his ganking is still strong, but the mobility creep has certainly hurt him. Maxing contaminated ground was preferable to maxing wall. Now, however, the better slow, along with, more importantly, better cooldown of the wall, makes it much more valuable for upgrading before soil. I would say upgrade your Q first, of course, max it first, and then max wall. That is the best way to skill build Trundle, in my opinion. Also, Stonewall's opinion. I take a lot of the stuff I know from the jungle from him. So if we share opinions, that's probably why, because I got them from him. And looks like we are going to have Baron going to Trundle's team, and he is going to be able to flaunt that Baron buff that he did acquire through Smite. I have fail smited a Baron. I think I did it yesterday. No, I think it was a few days ago. I fail smited a Baron. The other team got it. Very sad day when you're jungler and you fail smite Baron. But hey, things happen. So, looks like blue team definitely in an advantage right now. 10k gold advantage. It's going to be very hard for red team to come back from this. They're Cho'gath, the odd one. You've been shut down so much. You hardly have any stats at all to boast about. Your ultimate, you're using it every time it's off cooldown, but it's not enough. Only 2 stacks on your ultimate right now. You can tell he's waiting for it to come off cooldown again to eat something. And also, despite that, the Swain also very far behind. He's got his Rod of the Ages, but that's it. Only 99 CS compared to the fact that Kill has almost double that in CS. Almost double her opposing mid laner CS, along with 5 more kills and no deaths. The blue team has just done an excellent job of shutting down all the champions on red team, and now they're like, hey, let's just push this in, not give them a chance to recover, just push these lanes extremely hard and make sure we capitalize on our early advantage. That's the best way you can capitalize on an advantage, is by taking objectives and pushing. Unless, of course, you're taking advantage of a bunch of late game champions like Jax top lane, Vayne, and Sona bot lane, or some ridiculous composition of late game champions. Then, of course, you can wait and farm up even more, then face roll your opponents. But usually it's always a good idea to push if you get the early advantage. Looks like we might have some initiation from red team. Nice job catching the kill, but she's going to pop her ultimate. And now here comes a J4 right in the middle of their team. He's gigantic, and he's doing tons of damage. Cho'gath is going to be the first to follow. Ezreal might be next. He does get the slow hit with him. However, the cleanse is going to be coming out. I don't think anyone else from red team is going to die. J4 is still flaunting his way through their base, being incredibly tanky as he is. And it looks like they are going to get this tower and the inhibitor as well. That was almost a good initiation from red team. It would have been a good initiation were they not so far behind. The OddOne is just not tanky enough to deal with this. He does not have the items he needs to deal with this kind of thing. And pretty much the support is more farm, has more gold than the Cho'gath. Like, you see a Shirelia's boots of ganking and the Ruby Sidestone on the Taric. What do you see on the Cho'gath? You see the Ruby Sidestone, Adorned Shield, boots of ganking, and that Spirit Stone thing. Taric has more money than the Cho'gath. The support has more money than the Cho'gath because he hasn't spent most of his time dead. Unfortunately, the OddOne not playing very well this game. Well, it was pretty much, I wouldn't even chalk it up to him not playing well. He's been playing fine. It's just the fact that he's been being outplayed by the other team. They've been counter jungling him constantly, putting him so far behind. That's something you've got to do with junglers like Lee Sin, like Dr. Mundo, like Trundle. Especially, you've got amazing counter jungling prowess. Abuse it. Even Cho'gath, someone who's very resistant to counter jungling, is still getting roflstomped by good invaders such as Trundle. The only thing I have to insult you with Trundle is your build, skill build. I don't think it's optimal. I think it is improved by maxing the wall first. I will stand by that until death, or until Trundle is changed, or until Stonewall tells me differently. But I've actually played it in game both ways, and I do have to admit the lower cooldown on the wall is extremely valuable. And the OddOne looks dead, if you ask me, and my opinion seems to be very good right now. Here comes Jarvan the forward, just had insult to injury. He's going to ult the OddOne, and that is going to be a kill. In fact, Misfortune was coming to make it a true gangbang, but she did not make it in time. Unfortunately for her, fortunately probably for us, though. I don't think I would have wanted to see that. Would you guys have wanted to see that? Probably. Probably you guys would have, I'm not going to lie. And we have Lulu valiantly defending this Kayle. This Swain's like, I can take this Kayle, right? Answer to that question is no, Swain. But maybe with Ezreal you can. Nice ult from Kayle, going to allow her to flash out of there undisputed. And while she's proving a great distraction, blue team's going to push up the bot lane as hard as they can. Will they be able to take the turret? I don't even know if red team can stop them 5v4. Is it a 5v4? The OddOne just respawned. They're going to have to, they cannot let this turret fall, or so they're going to lose 2 inhibitors. And it's like Kayle's going to be pushing top lane. Wow, Jarvan decides to initiate. He doesn't have his ultimate up right now, but they're doing a lot of damage. Swain's falling extremely low, despite the fact that he has Lulu ultimate on him. And there goes Jarvan in once again, taking so much damage. And in fact, the Misfortune is going to get the Swain. However, now Misfortune's on the wrong side of her team, but they are going to reinitiate with the Jarvan. He's going to get a lot of damage down. And I don't really see red team winning this fight at all. Kayle ended up pushing top lane through the turret, and now she's here to pick up a kill on Ezreal. And pick up a kill on Lee Sin, and Lulu's the only one left. Trying to tower dive with Kayle, fountain dive with Kayle. It's a lot more common to see end of the game fountain diving in Dota 2 because the fountain doesn't do nearly as much damage. I mean, fountain does crazy amounts of damage in League of Legends, especially compared to Dota 2. So it's a little bit safer to dive the fountain in Dota 2. And it looks like we are going to have a little bit of ceremonial fountain diving going down here. And while the game finishes, and you're... Oh, KO. Just wanted to use it one last time for the game ended. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Raabemaster, Cast of Pro... Raabemaster, Procast, whatever. TheOddOne on Cho'gath, one of the best junglers in the world. Unfortunately for you guys, has not been giving a good showing on Cho'gath the last 2 games. You know, we all have our bad games. I won't hold it against him. I certainly hope you don't either. That Trundle play, though, was terrific. Don't forget, guys, I disagree with his skill build, but his playstyle was amazing. Something like Trundle, he just eats buffs alive with his Q. And, of course, if someone comes after you in the jungle, just throw your wall in their face, and they'll be like, well, I guess I'm going to be over here for a while. And they will be sad as you steal their buffs. Great play by him. Kale, of course, using her early game advantage she got over Swain to just destroy him in lane. He ended Rod of the Ages and tier 2 boots. But did Kale have tons of damage compared to him? She was on her way to a death cap. Leanne just Torment, Berserker Greaves. Ugh, just so much damage from her. And of course, Misfortune, the only Black Cleaver. She's got a fever. The only prescription was more Black Cleaver. Well, that's all I've got to say for you guys. When you play Jungle Cho'gath, beware of roaming trolls in your jungle because they're deadly and they will kill you for first blood. But besides that, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.